It is 1 day and 10 hours, so that's slightly less than a day and a half to the Bitcoin halving. As you can see, we're chugging on happily there, and we are almost at the halving. We've waited for this for, through the bear market, and now it's upon us. Now, it's important to understand that absolutely nothing is going to happen at hour 00000. It's just the beginning of a new era in blockchain and in Bitcoin, obviously. Some are predicting that we're going to see a surge in the price of Bitcoin a few weeks, maybe months following the halving. Whereas some people are suggesting that, in fact, things are going to become a little bit more difficult and not straightforward like we think. There's an interesting article I'm going to share with you today that makes a case for a sell the news, so buy the rumor, sell the news event concerning the Bitcoin halving. However, I have a few things to say about that myself. Right, so let's look at the price of crypto at the moment. As you can see, we have actually slipped into neutral, which means people are getting increasingly fearful. So that's unfortunate. I expected us to stay in greed, at least up until the halving, and then whatever happens, happens. But it seems like the happenings in the global ecosystem, the macro events, stuff going on around the world, is having an effect on people. Also, both Jerome Powell and Gary Gensler are doing the best to spread FUD around the ecosystem, such that people are getting a little bit weary, right? So the buying has slowed down. Actually, the inflows into ETFs have also slowed down somewhat because, a lot of these seedings that the big companies are doing, buying Bitcoin, are to match the demand of their ETFs. So if people are slowing down a little bit with the buying of the ETFs, then they also are slowing down a little bit with, the buying of Bitcoin. So perhaps that has a role to play in the price of Bitcoin, being a little bit weak at the moment. Of course, we still have the people who are selling Bitcoin and the people who are imminently about to sell Bitcoin. All of that contributes to the weakness. But in the last 24 hours, we've seen a little bit of a green surge, not a surge, I don't call it a surge, but a little bit of a reverse in strength with Bitcoin doing, nearly 5% in the last 24 hours or so. So that's positive. And that's also had a positive effect, obviously, on the rest of the cryptos, especially Solana, which also followed on. And of course, XRP, which, kind of did its thing. All right, so this is the article I was going to share with you. It says, is the Bitcoin halving a buy the rumor, sell the news moment? Okay, the community weighs in. And this particular person of importance, this CEO of Coinify, Ricky Stair, I don't know how to pronounce that properly, I probably butchered the name, suggests that this year's Bitcoin halving may lead to a buy the rumor, sell the news scenario, with price predictions potentially spanning several months, predicts challenges in replicating past dramatic increases, reports the block. Now, before I read the rest of the article, I see what he's trying to say. I agree with the second half of that the Bitcoin surge following the halving will never replicate what we saw in the early days of Bitcoin, just because, it takes a lot more money to pump Bitcoin at that rate. However, I think it can match and surpass what we saw in the last bull run. So it might not match what we saw in the earlier days, two market cycles away, but this cycle has the potential to eclipse last cycle. And in the last cycle, a lot of millionaires were made from scratch. So I believe that can happen in this cycle as well. Also, when it comes to millionaire making, quote unquote, I don't think Bitcoin is what's going to make people millionaires. It's going to be the altcoins, right? Especially those in the micro caps and the microscopic cap range, the alphas, right? The ones that are going to catch fire. Some of the memes, the AI coins, the Web3 tokens, some of which I'm going to be talking about going forward on this platform. And of course, we have our beloved darling XRP, which, could go at any point. So Coinify CEO predicts buy the rumor, sell the news scenario of Bitcoin. JP Morgan analyst foresees potential BTC price drop to $42,000 post halving. Bitcoin's price response to halving may not occur immediately, but over months. Now, the last one I kind of agree with. The second one in the middle, it's possible. I doubt it. The first one, that's also likely. Okay. So with just 1.5 days left until the highly anticipated Bitcoin halving, the crypto community is abuzz with speculation about its potential impact on prices. As the countdown continues and less than 250 blocks remain, Coinify CEO suggests a possible case of buy the rumor, sell the news for the halving. However, others believe this downturn could signal a shakeout before a significant uptick in prices. I kind of am in that camp of the latter there. So Bitcoin halving approaches. According to the CEO, halving cuts miners' rewards in half. Less efficient mining operations might become unprofitable. These miners might be forced to sell existing Bitcoin holdings to cover electricity costs, equipment maintenance, and other operational expenses. That's actually true. I think we've already seen that. I think they've already preempted that. I don't know if you remember just a few weeks ago when the miners were selling. I think they thought far ahead and already did that. I don't think that they're waiting for the halving to actually happen so that they can, spend their hard-earned Bitcoin that they're now working twice as hard to make, to buy electricity and to pay for equipment. I think that most of those miners, at least the ones that are in the big time, the big leagues, they've already done that by selling off some Bitcoin a few weeks ago, especially near all-time highs or at all-time highs, to do just that. You have to understand that some of these miners have been at it for a very long time. This isn't their first rodeo. They know exactly what's going on and what's going to happen. They've experienced it before. It's not their first halving, and they've basically done accordingly. Okay, the CEO mentioned that the response of Bitcoin's price to the upcoming halving might not happen right away. Historically, significant growth after halving occurs 6 to 18 months, and big price movements become less likely as the market grows. He also noted that replicating the massive gains seen in previous halvings might be tough because Bitcoin's larger market size now. Yeah, that's true. Sell the rumor, sell the news. Oh dear. Meanwhile, the concept of sell the rumor, sell the news has gained traction in the crypto community. That's a bit negative. With some anticipating a price decline following the halving. I'll say that's what JP Morgan is talking about. Interestingly, the approval of US spot Bitcoin exchange traded ETFs was also anticipated to trigger a sell the news event. However, the actual launch of spot BTC ETFs defied expectations, resembling more of a sell the rumor scenario. This unexpected turn saw Bitcoin prices surge to record highs once the ETFs began trading and accumulating BTC. Large BTC whales are well versed in selling on rumors, potentially offloading their holdings ahead of anticipated price drops to secure profits before the potential downturn. The action of Bitcoin whales can significantly influence the market sentiment, leading to fear, uncertainty, and doubt amongst smaller investors. I completely agree. I think the whales are playing a completely different game to what most retail people are doing. They have the insight, they have the research, they have the insider knowledge, and they have the power to move the market, right? So they can create FUD. They can move the market at will. Mind you, that's getting difficult even for the whales as the big organizations move in. So somebody who used to be a powerful Bitcoin whale might not be as powerful anymore because the dumping that they do can now easily be swallowed up by the likes of BlackRock, even Hong Kong as a country. Countries are now getting into it. So whales are now probably a little bit more wary to just dump willy-nilly because countries like, Saudi Arabia might have an order waiting to eat up whatever it is that they dump. So they're not stupid. They're not about to sell all of their Bitcoin to Saudi Arabia for cheap either, right? So JP Morgan analyst recently made headlines by predicting a potential drop in BTC prices to $42,000 post-halving. Even a BTC bull and former CEO of BitMEX, Arthur Hayes, anticipated a slump in BTC prices around the halving. Now, one thing about JP Morgan is I don't believe a word of what they say ever, especially if it's the CEO that says it. Historically, they say one thing and do something completely different. So Them calling that $42,000 price, I don't know. I don't buy it. I don't think that's what they really think. I think that they're just trying to create FUD. Maybe that's where their orders are. They've placed buy orders round about there, and they're just trying to FUD the price down to that, so that they can buy as much as possible. Also, if we study JP Morgan predictions, historically, how accurate have they been so far in predicting the price of Bitcoin? I'm willing to bet not so accurate. And if we study what they say out loud, especially what the CEO, Jamie Dimon, says, and compare to what's actually happening, what they're doing on the ledger, I'm willing to bet that those are diametric opposites of each other. So I don't buy anything JP Morgan says. I never have. Additionally, some observers have dubbed the halving as a sell the news event, where crypto assets often dip following positive news releases. As the halving approaches, uncertainty looms over the markets. While some anticipate a sell the news event, others remain optimistic about Bitcoin's long-term prospects. So my take away from all of this is this. One thing is for sure, Bitcoin at some point after the halving will enter price discovery. That is to say, it would smash through whatever the all-time high is at the moment, and it will surge to ridiculous heights. Now, when that's going to happen exactly, I have no idea. I don't think anybody does, but we know it's going to happen. Our only weapon against the FUD that's been spread at the moment is to dollar cost average and hodl. So if you can, procure some dry powder, no financial advice. If it does slump to 42,000, fantastic. All the alts are going to plummet as well. It's going to be absolute sales day. I'm going to buy myself some XRP. I'm going to buy myself some stacks. Maybe I might even dabble into some Solana and some of those coins that did a massive run that I thought I missed out on. Who knows? The train might return to the station. I might get on that train. So it's not a bad thing, actually, to see a slump. Actually, it might be a good thing for us. Gives us another opportunity to board the trains that had previously left the station. To borrow that analogy, detach your emotions from all this stuff. No financial advice. Just hodl like you've done through the bear market. We're in the good days now. However, 42,000 Bitcoin would have been a dream for us last February when Bitcoin was down and out. Okay, 42,000, what a dream. And getting onto that, and then it just returning to the all-time highs, that's like 70%. It's a win-win if you're a hodler. That's all I can say. No financial advice. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.